Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's discussion on Sage Construction Project Center. The topic of today's discussion is sharing documents with the field. It's one of the things that Sage Construction Project Center does really well is sharing information between the field and the office and having one centralized location for all that information. So I've got a lot to cover today and want to jump into it. So for today's agenda, real brief corporate overview, spend as much time as we can digging into the software, and then definitely save some time at the end for some questions and answers that we'll get to. Phone lines are muted on this call today, but if you do have questions, feel free to type those into the chat box throughout the discussion, and I will do my best to answer those either throughout or save some time at the end here. So who are we at Alliance? I think most people on this call are probably familiar with us, but we are technology consultants. Our whole team lives and breathes construction software. That's what we focus on. Now, the companies that make up our customer base can be very varied. We have small and mid-size subcontractors and specialty trades, all the way up to large and medium-size general contractors and developers, and a very diverse customer base. But really, what drives everyone together, the common theme amongst all of our customers, is the emphasis on construction and real estate. Our focus is on accounting and estimating, project management, and then paperless document management. We've got over 20 certified consultants, and that number is more like over 7,000 customers across the country. So make sure that you're asking for references. That's an important part of the decision-making process whenever you're evaluating new software. At Alliance, we want to consult, we want to learn about your business before we just go and recommend a solution. But when we do recommend a solution, we're drawing on a wealth of experience. We have people that have been in this business for 30 and 40 years that are working in our expertise pool. Finally, it's delivering that solution, working with our consulting teams to be successful from day one with whatever solution you do decide to implement. So today we're looking at Sage Construction Project Center, part of Sage's construction and real estate portfolio. It's a cloud-based system. It's currently integrated with Sage 300 Construction and Real Estate. It's more of a standalone with 100 contractor currently. Expect some more news coming about that integration later this year. So Sage Construction Project Center, though, it's a fully cloud-based project management system. You self-administer. So when you would sign up for a subscription to Sage Project Center, you specify who at your organization is going to be the admin, and then they go about adding projects, adding users in the system, and giving permission access to each of those users, saying what they can and cannot do. So some different benefits here come from Project Center, but really, at the end of the day, it's a single source of truth and a project collaboration website that has easy onboarding and lots of training options available to you. So the kinds of users that are accessing the system, so folks at your home office, CEO, COO, we have some dashboards available and scheduled reporting that we can do. Estimators, so we actually have a bid management solution that you can use to track your invitation to bid. You can choose to give access to your owner or your client at the site. So if they want to have real-time access to RFIs and submittal issues, they can do that directly with a login if you give that to them. Your subcontractors, vendors, material suppliers, we don't charge for third-party collaborators like this. We want to allow you to have as much access to your project site as you need. And then really what I was trying to focus on today is in the field side of things. So what's the kind of information that's available for your superintendents, project managers, the foreman? You have the option if you want to bring your designers in, if you're in a general contractor capacity and want to collaborate with your designers to actually functionally have them fill out RFI responses and track discussions in the system. That's an option you have as well. So the kinds of information we're working with, Matt, I think this is one of the last slides before we jump into the software. Drawings, specifications, RFIs, submittals, the workhorses within the construction industry in terms of document control. Additionally, though, if you're looking to track meeting minutes, daily logs, punch lists, and then cost management as well. Probably not going to dig too much into cost management in this webinar. That's more of another focus I think we have coming up in the future is on cost management. So with that, let's take a look at the software. So on my computer here, I have Google Chrome opened up. My login screen is over here on the left, and on the right is notification that Sage is actually putting on an event here coming up on Friday on bid management. So they've been doing a bi-weekly webinar series there to talk through different aspects of the software, not just maybe how to do a certain function, but even some best practices on, how to manage these different workflows at your firm. And then these sessions all get recorded too and are made available to all of our customers on the site. So everything is tracked down to the user level at the permissions basis. So when you log in, you can specify that you want to go to your favorite project, or the one that you've most recently logged into. So when I log in, I can see my Northwest Food Warehouse here, and as a project administrator, I have maybe access to some parts of the software that a user, if all they're doing is to access their drawings using Sage Construction Project Center, then they wouldn't maybe need to have access to quite the same level here. But everything's really controlled on a folder-driven basis. So think about your network files that you're keeping. So folders for jobs, folders for RFIs. That whole system can be transitioned here up to Construction Project Center. It's all our cloud-hosted environment, uses Microsoft Azure as a backbone, so you know that you're getting good security access and nice connection speeds there as well. So as a project admin, I'm looking at my project setup, going into events and messages, talked about cost management down here. Project management's really where we dig into the meat of what Project Center has to offer. There's a full reporting capabilities. So across all of these different aspects of the system, if you have a punch list availability here in project management, then you're going to have the ability to report on that in your reports as well. But also things like, so in our documents, I mentioned the bid review for our invitation to bid tracker here in bid packages. We have plans, we have specs, and then general and photos, closeout documents. You can customize these within each of these areas to match the folder structures that you need on your projects. Touch on project setup real quick before I jump into some more on the document management side of the house. So when you do go to your organization and adding new projects into the software, you can specify a folder structure that makes sense for your organization. So if I'm looking at Alliance, California, I can see here my list of projects that I have, some overall information about these. Are they open? Are they closed? I can add a project logo that goes along with that job, and that's actually going to populate my reports. So that if all you're looking to do is customize a logo on a job, then all you have to do is make a logo modification here, and then that's going to populate out to all the reports that you're working with. Okay, I wasn't expecting to see that. When I go to, for some reason, looks like the developers are working on this, that I'm not able to add a new project. The main thing I was looking to show there is that you can add it from a template. So whenever I think about document management, I want to make sure that my folder structures are matching across my different jobs. So what you can do is specify a template project, and maybe that looks different depending on your business. So you might have one template for your general construction type jobs. You might have another template for more of your interior renovations. So you can have a different folder structure kind of set up for each one of those. So I'm going to look at plans because that's really, our topic for the day is sharing information with the field. So in my experience working on construction projects, making sure your documents are up to date is a really important part of the overall process here. So within Construction Project Center, you have the ability to create folders and then track revisions to the drawings you have within those folders. So here I have a set of current drawings, and I also have listed out bulletins that we get released or ASIs that are coming out. So within my current drawing set, I can step in here and see my 01 through 12, and then if I go into, I think this one, we actually have a revision that came out. So here's my original, and then my revision, maybe that came out as part of one of those ASIs or the bulletins. With Project Center, you have the ability to, when you're adding those new revisions, you could say, I want to leave one copy in to all of my existing documents here so that I have a current set that's complete, but then also I want to copy those into another folder so that I can just see, ASI number 7 and the drawings that were part of that particular release. Now, what I want to do now is just pull up my iPad screen real quick and show what the Sage Construction Project Center app looks like and what kind of information you're sharing there. So down here in the lower left is my Project Center app. If I tap on that icon, it's going to pop up and takes me to a list of which projects I have access to. So for your users that are out in the field, I'm just kind of logged in as a field user that doesn't have access to all the jobs that I see with my administrator account. So just with this Northwest Food Warehouse here, I can pull up my plans, and I see that exact same folder structure that shows up on the website. It's pushed out to my superintendent or any field users' iPads. So if I just want to tap on those current drawings, it's going to pull up that same list of everything I had in the current drawings folder here. And even including if I go to this document that had a revision, I can see here's my original, here's my revised. And if I actually want to do a comparison on those documents, Sage Construction Project Center on their app allows you to do that. So you can actually highlight differences between drawing revisions. Within this set though, if I want to actually open up one of my drawings, this can really start to function as my own personal set of drawings that I'm carrying across out on the job site. So I can pinch and zoom if I want to make any notations on these. I can do that. Can change the color, and so really this, like I said, this turns into my own personal set of marked up drawings. These aren't markups that are going to be shared out with the whole rest of the team. If you do want to, you can send that markup by email, or you can export it into another PDF editor that might have things like measurement or custom stamps, some of that kind of stuff. There's other options out there that you can get some of the more fancy markup. This is really, get the information that you need to the people who need to see it. I have a question here. Can I get notified when drawings get updated? And yes, absolutely. So as a user, you can specify a notification schedule on any of these folders. And so if you're a project administrator, you can actually set up those notifications for your whole subcontract team, that you can put together a distribution list for all your subcontractors when you're starting up a job. And then anytime this current drawings gets updated, people can get an email notification. But then automatically also, just if when you do go to your iPad, you can actually specify which folders you actually want to sync. So you can see here, I have a green checkbox next to my current drawings. So if I left click on that, like a long press, I can enable that to sync or disable that to sync. That's something I forgot to mention. Just a benefit of having your documents on the iPad instead of accessing it through the web is that if you go into a concrete bunker or a basement, someplace that doesn't have internet connection, you still need to have access to your drawings. With Project Center, you are able to do that. You can carry some of this stuff offline, and then once you get back to your office where you have some internet connection, then you can sync back into the main cloud site. So really, you can think there's two different kind of components to Project Center. There's the web version and then the iPad version as well. And when I say the iPad version, I'm really referring to this either Android or iOS tablet or app that you can load in. So it's similar functionality between both iOS and Android. But it's really designed for your field users to have easy access to their information. The other thing you can always do, since it's a website, you can actually pull up essentially the same version of that website here on a tablet interface. And that's actually how it was designed in that sense, that it's designed for people that are on the go. So you can pretty much access everything you need to see on Construction Project Center. So if you need to see your RFI list, you can tap right there. You don't need to navigate through a complex list of menus. You go to your folder structure for your RFIs, and then all that information is going to be there. So even though this information isn't necessarily as part of the iPad, you can still access the full website of Project Center. So if I wanted to pull up, even my meeting minutes, for instance, I could go into all of that just using the iPad screen. So, just because we don't have a meeting minutes section within the app at this point, you can still access all that information from out in the field. I'll show one other good area where field and office collaboration can come in, and that's in our daily logs. So if I have a daily log here, you can have different subfolders set up. So you can have some internally for your own teams, but then if you have vendors or subcontractors who are also using your site as a collaboration tool, you could have them fill out daily field reports. And we have unlimited free external collaborators, so if you do want to add those, we're not going to charge you for them. But then, it can be one centralized location where they can be tracking their information as well. So if I just come up in here to a new daily report, I'm going to fill out new, list who my author is in this case, my time of day, it's going to be afternoon. My weather gets pulled in automatically based on the zip code I have set up for my project. So if I just went and saved those changes, 3:13 on the afternoon, so I'm going to start this on my computer, and then when I go out to my iPad, that same document is going to be available to me. So up here in my daily logs, my daily field reports, there I can see my March 13th just drops in, and I can take my iPad out on the job site and do additional observations. So if I wanted to go grab some attachments, maybe take a photo of my pen that's on my desk. So I can take that photo, I can make a markup. Sorry, I'm not actually doing this from a job site, but I can take a picture of that, add those markups, and go throughout my daily report. If I do want to make a new observation on weather, or it does start to rain heavier, you can actually come in here to your report and make those modifications throughout the day. They can also make note of any material equipment deliveries, comments, visitors, all those things. So this information is going to all get tracked in one single source of truth location up in Project Center. So there's some more reporting and capabilities that we can get into today, but I think that's really what I wanted to show is our connection to plans, specifications, all of our project management information being available on a tablet device, being able to give access to different members of your team, and then those daily field logs, being able to share those between web users and tablet users. So really, you're getting really good information tracked out on all of your projects. Taking a look at our questions, seeing one here, what's new functionality that's going to be coming out? Next functionality that's coming to the tablet application. That's going to be RFIs and punch list. So in the same way that currently you can snap a photo and attach that to a daily field report, you're going to be able to create RFIs on the fly out with that iPad app, or even if you're offline, be able to create those and sync those back into the main office. Similar is going to be on the punch list side of things, so that that integration can happen. Track all your iPads out in the field, and then one kind of central hub to manage that information. That's a thing to note is that Project Center is it's an actively developing product. If you come up to the release notes, it's quite regular. February 11th, coming January, December, November, October. So there's always new functionality that's getting rolled into Project Center, which is reason to check back at our events page if ever you are looking to continue getting more information on Project Center. I'll flash up a couple notes here if you'd like some more information on how you can get in contact with us. So pricing for Project Center, it's an annual subscription. It's based on the number of concurrent users within your company. Some important things that are free: unlimited projects. So we're not going to charge you for each job that you add into the system. We're going to give you unlimited storage for each of those projects, and then unlimited collaborators. So those architects, those vendors, subcontractors, those don't count towards your overall user count. If you have some more questions, get in touch with your Alliance account manager or myself if you have questions, cmcdermott@alliancesg.com. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. We did record this session, so we will get this out to everyone who attended. Thank you so much. Take care.